Hey BA fam, before we get into today's episode, I've only done this one other time. After the election of 2025, I got on here and I just really didn't have any words. And sometimes when I don't have the words, I turn to poetry and other brilliant writers who have some words that I can share. And today it really was on my heart, on my spirit to read this poem for y'all. It's by Audre Lorde. It's called A Litany for Survival. I'll try to read this without crying, but here we are. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone. For those of us who cannot indulge the passing dreams of choice, who live in doorways coming and going, in the hours between dawns, looking inward and outward, at once before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures, like bread in our children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. For those of us who were imprinted with fear, like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk, for by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hoped to silence us. For all of us, this instant and this triumph, we were never meant to survive. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid it might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we are afraid of indigestion. When our stomachs are empty, we are afraid we may never eat again. When we are loved, we are afraid. Love will vanish. When we are alone, we are afraid love will never return. And when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard, nor welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. This poem to me, by the great Audre Lorde, at a time like this, it just reminds me of the human experience that so many of us are feeling right now. The fear of not knowing what to say, if we should say it, when do we speak the truth on our hearts? The fear of things that we have today being taken from us tomorrow so that we can't even really enjoy what we already have. This poem is really the truth of that experience. The last part, when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it's better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. What I love about it is that it's a call to action to use our voices. We are walking around on tenterhooks and eggshells, unsure of what to say, afraid that if we speak out against what's happening, that our livelihoods could be taken from us. And for so many of us, that means our jobs. And at the same time, what are we actually fighting for? What are we actually fighting to maintain? What are y'all listening to? What poems, what writers, what voices are inspiring y'all today? I could use some more. I hope Brown Ambition is one of those spaces for y'all, but if you want to send me what's giving you hope and inspiration these days, can you email me, brownambitionpodcast@gmail.com? Can you DM me at brownambitionpodcast on Instagram? Can you take the link for this episode, for this show, and send it to 5 friends, sisters, colleagues, neighbors? Can you share Brown Ambition? I'm truly scared at a time like this. I'm truly scared for the survival of mid-sized, smaller platforms like Brown Ambition that were really created with us at the center of them, really created with our survival, our success in mind and at the forefront of the work that we do. And just thinking about that top 20 podcasts in the country right now and thinking about who is being lauded and whose platforms are being amplified, and very much starting to have this little bit of dread seep in that in the midst of all of this, shows like ours are going to be forgotten, that they're going to be taken down in some way. And I think I can't fix that. I can't prevent it without y'all's support. So if you could share this show, With 5 people you know have never listened to it, tell them they must download it. They must subscribe. If you're someone who has been referred to Brown Ambition by a friend, by a sister, by a colleague, I just really appreciate you. Thank you for showing up. And now it's your turn. Turn around, share the show with 5 people. Let them know they need to listen to Brown Ambition. Make sure that you subscribe, follow, leave a comment, engage with us. We're on social media at Brown Ambition Podcast, on IG in particular. You can also go to brownambitionpodcast.com to sign up for my newsletter and support me. I'm going to have a book coming out called Brown Ambition. It's going to be a financial and career guide for Black women, coming out hopefully in 2026. We'll see. So there's a lot coming from Brown Ambition. I've never been more grateful to have this platform. Thank y'all so much. Now let's get into the show. Uh-oh. It's a Black woman with a microphone, y'all. Everybody panic. Listen, I have never, there's times as the host of Brown Ambition that I have certainly felt called to do the work that I do. And there's days when I've woke up wondering if anybody cares about the work that I do. And I just have to say, today is not one of those days. Today is one of those days where I'm so damn happy to have this microphone. I realize how powerful it is that I have this platform and I can show up and I don't have to be afraid that my opinions, my thoughts, what's true to my heart and the work that I'm doing is going to rob me of my livelihood, because I've created a livelihood for myself. Yes, goddamn, I have. And I am in this rare position for, this was not my intention when I started Brown Ambition a decade ago. By the way, happy anniversary, Brown Ambition. It's officially our 10-year anniversary, and I have been so overwhelmed by the feeling about the anniversary and by kind of thinking about what the next 10 years are going to bring, but I just want to sit and acknowledge it for a second. We're 10 years old, BA fam. 10 years, 800 something episodes, 10 years of showing up week after week after week after week. No sleep. Club, bus, club, another club, plane, no sleep. I've been showing up, and I couldn't have done it without, of course, my forever sister and original BA partner, Tiffany. So sending you love, Tiffany, and thank you so much for helping me build this platform that we built together for 9 years, and to BA fam who've held me down since I took the helm solo at the beginning of 2025. I love you so much. But yeah, I am so happy to have this platform right now. I woke up this morning and I had one of those times. Where I was like, breaking news. I gotta scrap what I was planning to air today. I gotta grab that microphone and I gotta speak to BA fam. I gotta show up and speak truth to power. And I really have no choice. I can't wake up and have this platform and have the freedom to say what's on my mind and not do it at a time when we are seeing dozens of people during a week like this who have lost their jobs because of what they have said in the wake of the assassination. And there have been many people, I mean, they're coming for the white men too, y'all. Jimmy Kimmel done lost his show. Before that, Stephen Colbert lost his show. But I'm not here to talk about them. I'm really here because of what Karen Attiah. Karen Attiah was a renowned columnist for the Washington Post, a gorgeous, intelligent, really accomplished Black woman journalist at a time when we need more Black women journalists speaking out on major national platforms. And when I say the Washington Post, I know your first thought is like, was she really going to last that long? The Washington Post has been on this conservative bent, this conservative journey really since before you know who won the election last year. But we have seen the dismissal of other journalists from this plot. We've seen basically columnists from the editorial side of the Washington Post leaving their jobs in the past year due to the Post action to make the opinion columns more conservative and to basically try to put a muzzle on the columnists that they have there. We've had also another prominent Black woman journalist for the Washington Post who left after an incredible something like 2-decade tenure there. Shout out to Krissa Thompson. She left of her own accord. Karen Attiah did not. Karen Attiah was fired. She was on Blue Sky in the wake of Kirk's assassination. And I just wanted to read a couple of the posts that she published that led to her firing. One of the first posts, quote, "Refusing to tear my clothes and smear ashes on my face in performative mourning for a white man that espoused violence is not the same as violence." Unquote. Quote number 2. "Part of what keeps America so violent is the insistence that people perform care, empty goodness, and absolution for white men who espouse hatred and violence." Unquote. Karen, you didn't deserve to be fired. Your whole job as an opinion columnist is to have opinions on the news of the day. And when we are seeing opinion columnists losing their jobs over having opinions that their bosses don't agree with because of the pressure this administration is putting on the leaders of big businesses and media, in tech, in all industries, the control, the authoritarianism is in the room with us, sis. It's here. It's not about what if. It's not about this may happen. It's not about we need to pay attention to the signs. It's already happening. It's here. I'm not fear mongering. I have 2 eyeballs on my head. We're watching it happen live. All right. We're watching it happen live. I'm thinking about you, BA fam. I was thinking about how y'all are doing at a time like this. It's giving the summer of 2020 when, we were having blow after blow of murdering Black bodies at the hands of law enforcement. And we walked into our offices and we're expected to not be upset by it, to not say anything that might make others feel uncomfortable. And they really created the summer of 2020, this sense of false security that, oh, well, bring your authentic self to work. We're holding space for you. I'll never forget when my company, a big, fintech kind of financial marketplace company, the CEO hosted these Zooms, right? That summer, things felt like everything's kind of changing. Is it becoming a little bit safer to be who we are at the office? And it was a trap, baby. It really was. It was a whole trap. Not only did that summer lead to this huge wave of hiring women of color, people of color into roles that were supposed to promote diversity, equity, inclusion, it was like they corralled us into a booby trap. And they said, here, it's going to be great. We're going to put all this funding behind this. Sure, bring your authentic self. We really care about people's well-being, blah, 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 until the political tables turned. And now we are seeing, I don't have to tell y'all, the DEI jobs, poof, overnight. Just got another email from a woman who was working in DEI at a big media company. Poof, her job is gone. We've seen it time and time again, that they have sort of corralled us into this false sense of security, and we tied our livelihoods to it, and now we are feeling the repercussions. All of that is just to say that if you're a woman of color and you're going into the office this week, you're showing up and you're not sure how to feel, you're not sure if you should say something, you're thinking about going to HR, you're thinking about, speaking with your colleagues or chatting in the company Slack, please don't. Please don't. It's not worth it. We should be speaking out, and we should be speaking out with one another, and we should find some safe spaces to do that. The workplace ain't safe. The workplace is not safe. It is not safe. These right-wingers on the internet saying let's go find people who are speaking out. Let's expose them. Let's get them fired. Okay. You're at a time like this, in an economy like this, when we have families to support, we have our mouths, other mouths to feed, people relying on us. Let's not make ourselves an easy target. Okay. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, speak truth to power, and that we shouldn't, of course, link arms with one another and support each other and talk about what's going on and how we're feeling about it and process what's happening in real time. But we have to think differently. This is not 2020. I'm trying to learn from the lessons, the really tough lessons that I learned myself in 2020. And I wish I could say more about it, but NDAs. I just want to give y'all permission to say nothing when it comes to your career, your career at work, in your professional capacity. You don't have to say anything. It doesn't make you a coward. It doesn't mean that you're not a real one, because the way that they're coming for our livelihoods at a time like this is not a free speech type vibe in corporate America right now. It truly isn't. But hello, I'm Mandi Woodruff Santos. I have this microphone here. I paid for it with my own money. I have this platform here. I built it. I built it, baby, with my own time, blood, sweat, tears. Okay, not a lot of blood. Tiffany and I were not out here fighting in the streets, but I'm so lucky that I have had my own platform for a while and that I have this microphone and I can speak the way that I want to speak. Now, according to multiple sources and the research that I have been doing, I've been trying to keep track of the number of people who've lost their jobs because of statements they've made online. Right now, it's looking like a few dozen. So something like 33 people have lost their jobs or they face professional repercussions due to public remarks. We've got Matthew Dowd at MSNBC, Karen Attiah from the Washington Post. This is what's really chilling to me. Something like 24 teachers and faculty from various school districts, universities have lost their jobs because of remarks they've made online. And this continues a pattern of attacking our educators. If you're going to want to speak out, I would say, let's make a plan. Like, let's make an exit strategy for this career path. I'm not kidding, in higher education, because I don't want us to stop speaking out, but to jeopardize a career that quickly without having like a game plan in place. I just want to take a step back for a second and talk about how we might prepare to, liberate ourselves from these types of career paths or these types of environments where our voices, may cost us our jobs. Let's think in advance. How can we save up? How can we start to build our own platforms so that slowly but surely we are less reliant upon these institutions for our pay and for our livelihood, so that we can have more freedom to speak out? I think the people who are able to speak out and speak truth to power during a time like this, we are essential workers. The thing about at-will employment is that, yes, we have free speech, we have the First Amendment, but when you work for a private company, we lack some protections against getting fired for what we say. There's a law in California, apparently, that protects people for what they say and their political beliefs in the workplace. Yes, there's free speech, but when it comes to at-will employment, most relationships in the US are at will. That means that your employer can fire your butt at any time for any reason or no reason at all without even giving you prior notice. That does work two ways. It also means that we can up and leave with no reason at all or no notice. That being said, yes, companies very much can fire us. And this is not new. It's not new. Since the dawn of social media, people have been losing their jobs over what they have tweeted, what they have said online. And typically what's driving them to fire you is if they deem the post to be quote unquote in conflict with their values, if they threaten the company's reputation, or they suggest that you may harm workplace productivity. Those are very broad categories of problematic, and what we're seeing right now is they're using very broad definitions of this. I would pay close attention if I were working in corporate America to how my company's leadership has been in communication or is tied to Washington, D.C. and the administration. What benefits are there for your company's leadership to please this administration? Remember, these companies, it's capitalism, baby. It's about their bottom line. They're trying to survive until the next, election and the one after that. And if that means making some unpopular decisions about the way that they treat employees and how they act and their certain policies and, whether or not they're cutting that budget or they're cutting ERGs or they're firing the heads of DEI initiatives at their company. And yes, they may get some blowback, but they don't care. They're thinking about their bottom line, and they're thinking about this federal government. Like, we've seen the White House now. The United States is taking a 10% stake in Intel, okay? And they're all running scared. And so the fact that, they are willing to fire people over a hint that they may upset the administration just to prove their loyalty, to save their bottom line, to save their companies, to save their stock prices, to save their value on Wall Street. Like, tale as old as time, okay? So let's not get it twisted. That's where our leaders, these different corporations, this is where their loyalties are lying, okay? They're not with us. I want to just wrap this all up by reading this Substack from Karen Attiah. So in the wake of her firing, she's, I don't know if she probably had this Substack already, but I'm going to post a link to it in the comments so we can all join, subscribe, and support her. Here's what she had to say. My journalistic and moral values for balance compelled me to condemn violence and murder without engaging in excessive false mourning for a man who routinely attacked Black women as a group, put academics in danger by putting them on watch lists, claimed falsely that Black people were better off in the era of Jim Crow, said that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake, and favorably reviewed a book that called Liberals Unhumans. In a since-deleted post, a user accused me of supporting violence and fascism. I made clear that not performing over-the-top grief for white men who espouse violence was not the same as endorsing violence against them. She goes on to say, I was the last remaining Black full-time opinion columnist at the Post in one of the nation's most diverse regions. Washington, D.C. no longer has a paper that reflects the people it serves. What happened to me is part of a broader purge of Black voices from academia, business, government, and media, a historical pattern as dangerous as it is shameful and tragic. Miss Attiah, I know you're not going to stop writing and sharing your feelings, your opinions, your thoughts are so valued. They're so necessary. We are proud of you, Karen Attiah. We love you. We support you here at Brown Ambition. I don't usually do this, but I was on Apple Podcasts at some morning this week. I was trying to find the latest episode of Brown Ambition to make sure that the show uploaded properly. And the first thing I see when I open up Apple Podcasts is the top podcasts in America right now, right? It gave me chills. It truly gave me chills. Have y'all recently looked at the top? These are the top podcasts in America right now. Number 1, Charlie Kirk Show. Number 3, The Joe Rogan Experience, of course. Number 4, Candace Owens. Megyn Kelly, number 6. Ben Shapiro, number 9. Number 12, Tucker Carlson. The top voices in the country right now. These are the voices that are being lifted up and being celebrated. We have to be engaging with other creators and other voices and making sure that we still have a platform and that we're not being crowded out. This top 10, this top 20, I'm not liking it, America. I'm not liking it at all. All right, I want to close the show by reminding y'all to check the show notes. I want to make sure that I see y'all this coming Thursday. I'm doing a webinar where I'm going to be talking about the power of AI and how we can use AI to better manage our finances, reach our financial goals, and also, yes, stand out in this batch crazy job market so we can keep a roof over our heads and continue our livelihoods in this insane world. I'm going to be sharing strategies beyond just getting your resume zhuzhed up by ChatGPT. I'm going to be showing you how AI can take the pain out of networking, how it can take the pain out of finding opportunities to get your name out there, to build your professional brand. This is free. The sign up link is in the show notes. There's still time to sign up. It's all going down September 25th at 8 p.m. on Zoom. So make sure that you register and tell a friend to tell a friend. I'll see y'all there. Until then, bye BA fam.